Thank you very much, Carol. Thank you for the introduction. And I'm very happy to be speaking today at the TX conference. I hope you guys are having a great day. I am, definitely, so which is a good sign for sure. I'm going to quickly share my screen now. I have some slides I want to show you. Here we go. So I'm going to be talking about feed-driven search ads for e-commerce today. Although before starting, I just want to give you a very quick introduction about myself, just so you know who is talking. Oh, sorry, here we go. I am Performance Marketing Manager here at TX Markets, which is part of the TX Group. However, I'm kind of new in the role, actually started at the end of August. And before that, I was living in Dublin, where I worked for a company called Eason, which is the main bookstore in Ireland. In fact, actually, the case study I'm going to talk about today is about easons.com, which is obviously the e-commerce website for Eason. So I'm going to talk about something that I've done in the past, because obviously I'm too new in TX Markets for talking about something I've done here for now. Does any of you guys know this book? It's about 2 years old, although still, I guess, very, very relevant, especially these days. And strange enough, actually, my journey in feed-driven search ads, which obviously I'm going to explain what they are soon, started because of this book, strange enough. In fact, it was around early January 2018, when myself and my colleagues at Eason in Ireland, in this case, were coming back from the Christmas holidays. And a rumor started spreading from across the pond. And it was a rumor about a very new book that Trump himself really didn't want you to read. And in fact, he was apparently trying to stop the publication of. But nobody really knew about this book yet. At one point, on the 3rd of January in 2018, the New York Times posted a very short extract of the book, which looked so controversial that basically overnight, a huge demand for this book was raised. And in a matter of a few days, basically seemed like everybody in the US and in the Anglo-Saxon world, say in the UK, wanted this book. In fact, the publisher of the book had the release scheduled for the 9th of January, but then decided to move it up to the 5th of January, so 4 days earlier, because of the unprecedented demand. And as you can imagine, ourselves in my company, and even our competitors actually, were not ready for such an unprecedented demand. You know, some of us even didn't have the book in stock. And that's when I realized how the book trends move at such a quick and fast pace that not even book specialist companies like Eason in this case were able to catch up with. Another interesting case happened around a year later, in early 2019, when a book by a lovely lady called Mrs. Inch from England happened to be a massive success in April 2019. Mrs. Inch became famous because she reached the 1 million followers on Instagram in just 3 months, from September to November 2018. So pretty quickly, I would say. And as often happens, fortunately or unfortunately, I would say, Instagram influencers write books. So this lovely lady decided to write a book about home cleaning tips, which is all what her Instagram account is about. Now, because of the speed she got, following on Instagram, nobody in the industry really believed that this book could have been a success, especially because, it's about cleaning tips from an Instagram influencer, But then eventually, again, we were wrong, and this book became a massive success, at least in the UK and Ireland. So once again, I realized how it's very hard to predict book trends, and anyway, they move very, very fast. So I realized that we at Eason had a problem, especially, for what it concerned marketing. And the problem was, how can performance marketing keep the pace with the book trends, which again are very fast? Basically, the idea was how easons.com can be found online when people are searching for these books. And again, people are, because again, everybody wanted the Trump book, everybody wanted Mrs. Inch, so they were looking for it online, on Google especially. So myself, working in marketing, I had several channels to leverage in order to make sure we were found, online for these searches. The first channel I could have leveraged was SEO, but it wasn't really a good idea, I would say, because as you might know, for new pages to rank on Google, it might take several weeks, if not a month sometimes. So of course, by definition, was too slow to catch up with the trends, Another idea could be maybe programmatic ads or Google display ads or social ads anyway, visual ads. Again, it might take a few days to plan a campaign like this, and more often than not, you might need some design work, which sometimes you even have to outsource. So again, too slow. Now, another option could have been email marketing. Of course, creating an email marketing campaign can be quite quick, especially if you do it in-house, as it was our case. But again, the downside is that it reaches only people within your database already, and you can't really match the intent of users, of new users at least, looking for this new book. Therefore, I realized I was only left with search ads as a channel. But how can I leverage search ads in this case? Well, I thought of dynamic search ads in the beginning. As some of you might know, dynamic search ads are an automated solution by Google that basically automatically write search ads for you based on the content of your website. So pretty much like SEO, the problem here is that the crawling of the system of your website can be sometimes too slow, especially when you have a very large website, as it was our case. Plus, another downside of that is that, of course, you don't have control on the ad content, especially the ad headlines, because as I said, these are dynamically generated, automatically created by the system. So you can't really create a book-specific ad, which is what I wanted, because if I wanted to advertise the Trump book, for example, I really wanted it to call it out, so that this is the new book by Trump that everybody wants and so on. I couldn't really do it like this. So I was only left with the regular static search ads, because of course you can create new ad groups, ads and keywords quite quickly, and then the ads are published on Google very quickly as well. Problem is, because as I said, the trends move so fast that almost every week there's a new bestseller, in the chart. I would really spend my days typing all the time, typing ads and keywords, which was definitely something I wasn't keen on doing. And either way, it wasn't efficient for sure, because obviously I couldn't know every book, in the charts and write about it every day. So I came up with my own solution, a solution that I called feed-driven search ads. Now, this was early 2018. And at the time, the concept of feed-driven search ads wasn't really popular. In fact, I actually couldn't find really much information online. And there were basically no companies actually providing this service. While nowadays there are, for example, feed providers like Data Feed Watch or Feedonomics, they do provide feed-driven search ads capabilities, literally. But at the time, not really. So I had to create my own solution. Basically, feed-driven search ads are regular static ads that are automatically created by a custom script in Google Ads. And the idea is that the content of these ads, the ad copies, are dynamically populated thanks to the content of your product feed. So for example, in the spreadsheet that you see in the slides, this ad is retrieving from the feed the book title, the book author, and the book price, for example. So first of all, I had to understand which books were actually worth to be advertised, so to pick the trend somehow. So I would analyze sales data and traffic data from Google Analytics to pick, the kind of the most popular books at any given time, kind of in real time. I would export this data into a Google spreadsheet, and then match this data against our product feed. So then I was able to filter only the books that were at the top of the rank, so the book that were either bestsellers or the most visited on the website. And then, thanks to the information contained in the feed, I could create a Google spreadsheet search ads template, thanks to which I was able to literally create text ads and then upload them on a regular basis, on a daily basis, in fact, onto Google Ads, thanks to a custom script. Now, my DIY solution, as I called it, had a couple of issues. First of all, the product feed was too large to be actually managed in Google Sheets. In fact, we hosted over 500,000 products at that time, and therefore definitely too many to be managed simply on a Google spreadsheet. Also, the feed was actually hosted and managed by our IT department, so we in marketing didn't really have control on it. And I actually realized at the time that the price and availability data sometimes were actually slow to update, so they weren't really matching in real time what was happening on the website. So I had to come up with, again, another DIY solution. So I designed a custom script on Google Tag Manager, which basically would scrape the content of our product pages on the website, retrieving all the most important book information. So say the book title, the book price, again, the book release date, and so on. It will then pass this information onto a Google spreadsheet. And then, of course, thanks to this information, I would build my own feed in Google Spreadsheet. Now, because the script on Tag Manager would fire only when users will visit a product page, then by definition, basically, I was only getting information about the most popular books. Because, of course, the more users were visiting a page, the more chances, that page was being scraped by my system, and then I will be getting information about that book specifically. So on one hand, I had the sales data and traffic data from Google Analytics. On the other hand, I had my own custom built, say, feed that was basically only made of the most popular books in real time, basically. Now, the outcome of all this complex system was actually something very nice to see, I would say, especially from a user perspective, which were very highly tailored search ads on Google in this case. As you can see from the screenshot, these ads show very relevant book-specific information, as the book price, the book title, author, but also sales data and stock level data. This was very important when it came to advertising very trending books. As I said, everybody wanted the book about Trump, but the stock level was very low because, as I said, it was kind of a watershed. Nobody really knew about this book. And therefore, it was important to communicate to potential customers that they needed to hurry up if they actually wanted to buy the book. For example, in the case you can see is hurry up, only 10 left in stock, shop now. Because, it might be out of stock very soon. Or drive some kind of FOMO, in the users saying, look, this book already got 55 sales over the past week. So you better jump on the bandwagon as well. You better buy it as well because everybody is buying it. It must be popular. It must be something that everybody is talking about, So urgency and FOMO were two elements I wanted to kind of leverage. And then also I leveraged some...
Stop you here. Just 2 more minutes. Please wrap up.
Sure. This is the last slide. I could also leverage some price data, as you can see. So discount data in real time, because obviously the pricing was changing very often, even during the day. And I wanted to communicate it to users. Now, this was kind of a complex system, and if you want to know more, you can actually visit my website. I wrote a kind of a blog post where I talk about it a bit more, or you can contact me privately at the following links, or even post some questions here in the chat. Thank you.